Have you ever been so deeply triggered by somebody that you could literally feel your blood boil and your body constrict? What about someone that you are so drawn to? They're so magnetic, you can feel their pull. Both of those are considered shadows. That's a dark and light shadow, respectively. A shadow is an unintegrated potential or an unconscious part of ourselves that we're not aware of. It's a mouthful, I know. I'm going to break it all down today, and if this is something that you guys like, I will definitely make more videos about this. If you're into this kind of thing, definitely click subscribe and turn that bell notification on because your girl doesn't have an upload schedule yet, but at least I'm still posting, right? Right, okay. This has been my number one practice for getting through my grief. Processing it, dealing with it, integrating all my shadows again. It's changed so much about my life. It's not my only practice, but it is one of my main ones. I've made this part of my daily rituals. I do this every single day. I have different forms of how to do shadow work every day. And I also pair it with some meditation and some dancing because I find that moving my body really helps me connect and get grounded before I do my shadow work. I found shadow work 2 years ago, and that was when I was in the thick of my grief. And at that point, I would say that I was not a spiritual person at all. I wasn't religious either. I grew up in the church, but I never really believed in God. God just felt too limiting and restrictive and just judgmental. And I had a bad experience with a pastor. I asked him for help with my addiction because I knew a friend that had gone to Teen Challenge, and that's a religious-based type of rehab program. And my pastor offered to make me an acolyte, which for those of you that don't know, an acolyte lights the candles before each service. Sure, lighting candles is definitely going to help me with my heroin addiction. Needless to say, I didn't go back, and I didn't jive with the 12 steps either because of the whole higher power thing. It's not that I didn't believe in a higher power. I did believe in something bigger than myself. I just didn't know what it was. I believed in the universe. I believed in karma. I believed in serendipity. I believed in science. Science has always been like my God. And it's not that God just felt too small, too restrictive. Universe feels so much bigger. Source is a word I'm playing around with, but this is a spiritual practice, but it's not necessarily a religious practice. I just want to throw that out there. So if you're on the fence about it, I want you to know that this is a safe place. This is not going to interfere with your religious beliefs. This is just really a psychological science practice. Carl Jung actually, I think, is the first person that introduced the shadow selves. And there's the 12 archetypes, and it's a long history in psychology. And it's kind of evolved over the years, but I really aligned with it. And I found a lot of benefit in it. The results are undeniable. No joke. It took my romantic relationship with Greg to a whole nother level. We understand each other in such a different way. It's so nuanced and amazing. And I feel really safe with him. I understand him. I truly love myself again. I am patient and I'm compassionate and I'm kind to myself in ways that I have not been for years. I'm even seeing a huge shift in my codependency tendencies, which are more familial than romantic, but they're definitely there. I have a daily cleaning schedule, which I actually do every single day. What? My self-care game is coming back again, finally. I'm finally showing up and playing big with coaching or my job or however you want to call it. I'm taking risks and it's fun. And at times it's scary, but I'm no longer letting these unconscious drives like fear of rejection or perfectionism or scarcity or lack or urgency rule my life. I actually feel in control. And I am genuinely more compassionate and more empathetic towards other people. I just can see people thinking and how they act and behave, and I just see it all in a different light. And it's awesome. So what do you think? Sound too good to be true? Yeah, I know. But I hope you guys trust me by now. I hope that you know that I'm well-researched and I don't present information that I don't genuinely believe in and support. I would never bring a practice to you if it's not something that I did myself. So to quote Christina Randall, all I'm asking for is a mustard seed of faith. Just a tiny little bit of faith. Just trust me. You don't have to trust the process yet, just trust me. And watch this video to the end. This originally started as a practice for just myself. And Greg actually participated in it with me. I took a class maybe 2 years ago, and it's progressed into something bigger than that. And I'm kind of really excited about it. I've started doing calls with friends and family first, and now I'm kind of offering services to those that I kind of connect with on Facebook. And I really just go through the shadow process with them. I help them identify a shadow, which is a very easy exercise. And I help them look at this shadow in a different light. You want to identify how you too are displaying that behavior and how it has benefited you. Because all shadows, while they might seem negative at first, they are really just positive attributes that need to be reintegrated. To really help you understand this, let's give you a little bit of the core tenets of shadow work. Shadows are something that we all have. They're completely normal. We learn them in childhood mostly, but we can learn them at any point in our life. We have role models or caregivers that are less conscious beings, as we all are. No one is fully self-actualized. As children, we see the world as a dichotomy. It's either yes or no, black or white, up or down. And one is the right way and one is the wrong way. And that's very important to note because we want to be doing the right thing in the eyes of our caregivers and our role models. And that is why we create shadows. So say you're a child and you're just being your normal self and you're being a little bit needy, but you have genuine needs. You know, you're a kid, you can't quite do that on your own yet. And somehow a role model makes you feel bad about that. They say, oh gosh, can't you see I'm busy right now? And you learn, oh, expressing my needs is a bad thing. So then you learn to suppress your selfish side. And then you develop the selfish shadow. It's a part of us that's always going to be there. It's a part that we will try to pretend like it's not, though. It's unconscious. It's an unconscious part of us. That means we have done whatever possible to repress it, to ignore it. And that means we will adapt a behavior to compensate for it. So if you have a selfish shadow, you will probably have learned to be very selfless. You will want to help others. You will be a people pleaser. You will be a caregiver. You are more likely to be altruistic. And the selfish shadow then serves you because all those behaviors are really great behaviors. But because we have this shadow that is it's energy that's not dealt with, and we're stuffing it down, and energy doesn't just disappear. It comes back up and it will always rear its ugly head. So the selfish shadow will then all of a sudden pop out in the most inconvenient situations. You'll just be suddenly like very selfish and overwhelmingly selfish that people don't understand. Because normally you're so selfless and you're a caregiver, but then you have this selfish side of you that just rears its ugly head. That is an unintegrated shadow. That's a dark shadow, but on the flip side, you can have a light shadow, which is a positive attribute that you are pulled towards. So when you see someone and you think that they have the most beautiful singing voice, or you love how intelligent they are, or how business savvy they are, and you feel like they have this magnetic pull about them, that is something it's an unintegrated potential that you have. So it's either an unconscious part of yourself or it's an unintegrated potential. That means you're waiting to activate it. The law of abundance, or like, I don't know how to explain all this in one video, but abundance means that we have everything we need. Shadow work really goes off of the fact that we are perfect as we are. The universe makes no mistakes. We're not broken. We're exactly where we're supposed to be, and there's a reason for everything. I hate to say it like that. There's not a reason for everything. Like, everything happens for a reason feels so invalidating because it almost assumes that everything happens for a reason and it's a good reason, and that's not true. Things happen and sometimes they suck, but they always have the potential to serve us in some way later in life. You know, we can activate a deeper level of consciousness from it. We can become a better person from it. We can grow from it in ways that we would have never been able to grow without that experience. So, while I hate saying everything happens for a reason, in a way it does happen to serve you eventually. There's truly like no good or bad thing in the universe. Things just are. And that's the same as shadows. There's light and dark, but it's not really positive or negative. Nothing is truly negative. It's just a positive thing waiting to be reintegrated. I think my favorite part about shadow work is knowing that I was enough. I wasn't broken. I was perfectly okay as I was, and I'm not behind schedule. I have parts of myself that I might not like, but they have served me. They have served me in so many ways. I have shadows about being stupid. That's a big shadow of mine. And that's why I like to be very well researched, why I come to you guys with such deeply researched information, and I don't want to give you any misinformation. That's definitely a shadow, but it's made me into a student, a lifelong learner. What's another one of mine? Let's see. I have a selfish shadow. I have a morally and ethically ambiguous shadow. This one just kind of showed up the other day. I was on Instagram trying to think of like a new user, like a new handle or whatever, because I want to start posting about this stuff on there. And I was researching women that are doing spiritual practices and offering things for sale, you know, their services, programs, courses. And I got this like, not like other girls vibe, which actually I'm going to make a video about that in a little bit, which I'm kind of looking forward to. But I was sitting there watching them and I'm like, God, I could never do that. Like, I would be so embarrassed. I would be like, they really know what they're doing. They know what they're selling. They know how to do sales, and like, look at me. And then all of a sudden I had this one thought pop into my head where it was like, oh, I would never do that. What does that mean, Megan? I would never do that, as if whatever they were doing was morally or ethically ambiguous and I was somehow better than them for not doing it. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that. I don't think that they're doing anything morally or ethically ambiguous. And I realized that this is just my own shadow speaking to me, because in the past, I've been morally and ethically ambiguous. I have done things that hurt people. I've done things that were not right. I'm an addict after all. And I had to really sit down with myself, and I had to do my meditation and look at the shadow, see how it served me, which it helped me become a morally and ethically good person. It helped me become the compassionate person I am today. I used to be a really big bitch, and I'm not anymore, but that's because of this shadow. And I'm no better than anyone else, and I'm not like other girls. I'm just like other women. I like to say, instead of N-Log, they say not like other girls, it's J-Lo, just like other women. I'm so funny, I know. But there's a whole guided meditation process that you go on. You want to really ground yourself, get to your center, and you want to meet your shadow. You want to ask your shadow some questions. Where did you come from? What was the core initiation that caused you? Because that moment is what's triggering you. It's not the people in your life now. No one can cause you to feel any type of emotion unless you allow them to. And really, we're not being triggered by the situation at hand. We are being triggered by our past memory, this core initiation or core wound, when we were first made to feel stupid, or we were first made to feel like we were selfish. That's normal. Those are normal experiences. Everybody has these shadows, and everybody has benefited from them too. So we asked the shadow where it came from, how we benefited from it. What did we do to compensate for that behavior? And what would life look like with it integrated again? Then we ask what it needs from us, because really, we're not trying to heal this shadow and remove it. It's not going to go away. It's always going to be there. But we want to reintegrate it. So we want to give it the attention that it needs. Give it what it needs so that it can be a part of us again, and we can become a fuller version of ourselves. It's important to note that this isn't to make us a whole person again. We're not broken now. This is just going to make us live a more aligned and more authentic life. If this is something you think you want to explore more with me, go ahead and click the link in the description. I'm going to offer you guys a 15-minute call. I think that should be plenty of time to identify your shadows, and we can talk about how they have benefited you. And if you really want to go deep, we can do the guided meditation and reintegrate your shadows, or work on that together. All the information will be at the link in the description below. I know a few of you guys were looking forward to this video, so I hope it delivered on what I promised. But if this is something that you'd like to hear more about, I have so many ideas for future videos. I want to go over the exercise that helps you identify your shadows. I want to make a video about how you have benefited from them, because there's some shadows that are pretty gnarly, some pretty dark, gross shadows that you're like, how could I have ever benefited from that? Like a murderer shadow, or an abuser shadow. Like, they do serve us in certain ways. They protect us. It'd be a whole nother video. If you're interested in any of that, let me know in the comment section. I hope this was interesting. I hope that you guys loved it, and I hope that you guys want me to share more of this, because this is really, really exciting for me. But that's all for today. Be weird, be kind. Bye. Bye.